People visiting a country versus the people living in the country. I'm trying to think all the examples around the world that is exactly like this. Top answer is Thailand. Yeah, I can see that. Second is the Philippines. Okay, what's going on here? I mean, you can even say this about the US too. Imagine this, people visiting Florida versus people living in Florida. Pretty drastic difference there. I feel like unless you're a part of the top 7 happiest countries in the world, this meme probably applies to you. So Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, honorable mention, Bhutan. Didn't expect that. When you decide to post while Americans are asleep so you can interact with the Germans and the Indians. I actually used to do this too. I would intentionally just like post my videos at like 3 a.m. That way I just like for sure know most of the comments are gonna be coming from over here. I should start doing that again. Doctors in 2023 take several months to heal you and cost thousands of dollars in therapy. Meanwhile, the doctors in 1940, you may need a lobotomy. Lobotomies used to fix everything. Depression, anxiety, migraines. Fixes PTSD, ADD, Alzheimer's. And what more evidence do you need? Clearly this person is unhappy before and really happy after. Well, that's all I needed to see. Only takes 10 minutes. Gonna just jam this nail through your eyeball. Is it really supposed to go through her eyeball? I don't think that's actually how they did it, right? The idea of a lobotomy still makes me laugh to this day. Like, we're just gonna poke your brain randomly a couple times and hopefully it fixes you. 50 Cent dreaming about moving to Vietnam and having to change his name to 11,706 Dong. Honestly, 11,000 Dong doesn't sound like that bad of a rapper name. MCU aliens learning English before coming to Earth. Safe to say they probably all have a subscription to Duolingo. It's funny that they all decided just to randomly learn English. Like, why did they choose that? I mean, if they were picking randomly, you'd think one of them would be speaking Hungarian. Or if you wanted to base it purely off percentages, a lot of them should be speaking Mandarin. Imagine Thanos just showing up to the USA and the first thing he says is, when Germans say Schmetterling for the word butterfly, everything's got to be like a hardcore death metal band, doesn't it? Especially for this part of Europe. Did I even pronounce that right?
Schmetterling.
Oh, I did almost pronounce that right. Schmetterling. Americans discussing the best state versus Americans discussing the worst. Because we all kind of generally agree, at least the region in which the worst states come from. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it myself. I'm just saying, I feel like most people throw out Florida, Mississippi, or my birth state, Alabama, is all generally down here. Although there has been a new contender to the whole thing. Always has been. But it's pretty much impossible to pick the best state. Like, if you even mention California, Texas, or New York, it's gonna trigger so many other people. Actually, there'd probably be a lot of people that would vote for those as the worst states too. How the rest of the world sees Americans. Kelly has eaten nothing but cheesy potatoes for 30 years. I really wish I could have given him like a British accent. Cheese and potatoes, that's been a staple in our diet forever. The Japanese, when you ask them to find out what they did to China in WW2. Funny, there seems to be no evidence of them doing anything wrong. So strange. Now let's ask all the neighboring Asian countries to Japan at this time. Like, just any region in the green here. Any of them. Any of them all. I have a feeling they'll probably find something. Some random person, he was so peaceful and good. Meanwhile, the reaction to other Indians and Civilization players. Okay, I can go into why in the game Sid Meier's Civilization, Gandhi is actually like this nuke crazy maniac. If you're anywhere near him, he will blow you up. But yeah, I don't think I can get into why Indians would react like this. Polish people and Cuban Americans fighting to see who despises communists more. Oh, and trust me, that list is actually way more than just these two. You can also include pretty much anyone from Eastern Europe, the Balkans, the Baltics, Vietnam, Cambodia, probably Ukraine as well. Medieval peasants worked only about 150 days in a year. The church believed it was important to keep them happy with frequent mandatory holidays. That's right, you have less holidays than a medieval peasant. That's insane. They only worked 150 days a year? I guess the problem was that they were only going to make it to like 35 anyways though, right? It was actually 33 in the Middle Ages. It was only 25 in the Roman Empire? Our next target, boys, the Japanese Prime Minister. Apparently, he passed 4 months ago. Excellent work, boys. The penguins of Madagascar here are so good at doing their job, they're completing tasks before they even know they had to do it. Rip, Space Cowboy. Sometimes I watch King of the Hill in Japanese to pretend it's very, very obscure anime. Bobby. This, if I showed my anime hipster friends this, that only watch the most obscure anime, but they don't know a lot about American television, they would so believe it. Like, whoa, this is so retro. Who would think there'd be a Japanese anime about Texas? Woman eats pasta with gravy. Now people want her banned from Italy. Oh man, for a second there, I actually thought that was syrup. Pasta with syrup, that's okay. I like how this is the most offensive thing you could do in Italy. Like, let's not even talk about putting pineapples on pizza. Main battle tank, infantry fighting vehicle, armored personnel carrier, all these other things versus just tank. That's how all Giga Chads refer to random military vehicles. I like how one of them is literally a military bicycle, yet no. that's a tank. So someone asked AI to turn each country into a villain. I've been seeing these TikToks everywhere. Of course, to start things off, we have an evil samurai from Japan. Germany just looks like John Cena. I'm genuinely surprised he doesn't have a little skinny mustache here. Russia looks like it's like maybe a Siberian tiger. Gotta admit, I'm a little disappointed it's not a massive bear. USA just looks like a clown because we live in a society. Greece is just like a Greek god. Brazil, of course, is just like the Amazon rainforest. Mexico with the Dia de los Muertos theme. Some I think are really accurate. Others I think could have been a little bit better. How is this not like an evil penguin or something? This is all you had to show us from Madagascar. Man pays over $200 to ship Texas dirt to Italy for his son to be born over Texas soil. Least patriotic Texan ever. There's probably hundreds of exact stories just like this. I wouldn't be surprised. Friday night, shower, shave beard, hair products, new jacket, new shoes, apply fragrance, say goodbye to parents, hide in the woods until 2 a.m. If you're not doing this around the age of 19, you're truly not living in life. Everyone's got to try it once. Screams were invented in 300,000 BC. People in 300,001 BC. Hey, that would definitely alert me, that's for sure. Nothing would get me to move any quicker. Me, if I ever come across one of those Turkish ice cream vendors, yeah, it's time. It's over. We're sick of it. This man has found a way to defeat the undefeatable. We need to inform everyone around the world. How my brain records memories. We have good memories in 144p quality versus the cringe memories. Literally in 8K, and I guarantee you it's at like 120 frames per second. You know what? I think I should just get a lobotomy. I'm sick of the way my brain works. Old white man calls you son. Southern woman calls you honey. British woman calls you love. Australian calls you mate. But best of all, kebab man calls you boss. I will never feel more powerful than in this moment right here. I mean, an Australian calling me mate is also a pretty big deal. That or the C word, but yeah. Is the fall of Rome comparable to the current situation in the United States? No, Rome had good roads. We can't even do that right. Let's not forget, like, we're only on year 250 here in the US. We got a whole lot longer to even come close to living as long as Rome did. How it started versus how it ended. Bro literally turned into a Christmas tree. Talk about a Christmas miracle. I'm so glad someone brought a wholesome meme to us like this. And the fact that she stayed with him too, like that's even more magical. Read 322 pages of terms and conditions, then click disagree. I don't think I need to elaborate any further. I mean, how else am I supposed to understand legal jargon? The American people fighting the American people. Meanwhile, the American people standing by watching. Oh yeah, and then there's all the Europeans with their popcorn out. I'm just really glad we're able to bring some sort of joy into other people's life at this point, because we're definitely not feeling any joy up here. How I sleep knowing there's no political election fiasco in my country because we don't have a democracy here. The glories of that. We should just go back to the medieval monarchy days, I guess. Don't have to worry about the chaos anymore. Average American sweets fan versus average Turkish sweets fan. I'm actually not surprised that Turkey has like great sweets. I mean, Turkish delight. Just that name alone. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds like they would have good candy. I only know about this because of the Chronicles of Narnia. It's gel of starch and sugar. I have surprisingly not ever actually tried this before. Or maybe I have. Oh, that actually looks more familiar. Me when I'm having fun playing Plague Inc., then suddenly, ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall. Yeah. I guess this is supposed to reference the Black Plague. That was always what I had heard. Was that ever confirmed? I think that was just like what everyone said. Pretty sure that was confirmed though. Like how there's just been like a random resurgence of Plague Inc. Jacksepticeye played it, and then I played it, and I'm just surprised. It's still a really fun game to check out. America was discovered by Christopher Columbus. America was discovered by Leif Erikson. America was discovered by the natives. I've actually been hearing this more and more often. I guess the natives technically discovered all the lands and continents here, didn't they? Humans discovered Earth. Anubis, Hades, and Loki all agreeing that being portrayed as villains despite being chill. I guess they don't necessarily agree with that. That's just how it is. Is Loki chill, really? I knew Hades was. Or no, actually Anubis. He's chill? From this image, he don't look that chill. Remember kids, if it's brown, lie down. If it's black, fight back. And if it's white, you are severely fricked. So I've talked about this before. I have this really irrational fear of bears. One day I randomly decided to look up, I don't even know why, polar bear attack videos. I'm sure you are in trouble for like a vast majority of the time, but I did see a couple videos where they did just kind of like go away. Maybe they just had better things to do. Crocodiles 65 million years ago watching everything around them get oofed. Yo! Did we just become the apex predator overnight? I feel like we don't talk about how crazy it is that we still have kind of dinosaurs walking around with us. So fam, I kind of freaked up. It was a cringe mistake on my part. Sending my deepest prayers to the vaporized victims, for real, for real. Man, no wonder this was such an iconic speech by Oppenheimer here. Probably one of the best YouTube apologies apology videos that was ever dropped. Michael Jordan's parents in 1963 after naming him after a shoe. Probably one of the best ideas ever. I'm gonna start naming my kids after shoes. I'm gonna name my son Vans. European winter, according to the Russians, versus the actual European winter. Yeah, we talked about this last week. This actually ended up being America, if anything. They've been actually chilling this whole winter just to find tropical vacation. You have two options: nuke Washington or admit loss in Ukraine. That's pretty much the only thing Russia can do right now. So I'm gonna be honest, I would much rather you pick one of these instead of the other. Please. Just please. Penguin Zero on his way to talk about the most freaking pointless subject ever known to man, and then proceed to get probably like 10 million views from it too. I mean, I'm out here watching it. I don't even know. I just want to listen. I need to hear the news from his like cold, dead delivery. And big thank you to my patrons: Drew's Goth Girlfriend, Triv44, aka DrewcometoCracow, Polandnextvacation, Twickenhamster, Drew's Argentinian Grandpa, $20 is a lot, Drew, Selene, B Wildfang, Bryton Is, Carmel Saida, DJ, McSkillet, ortin, Patrick, Allison, Robert E, the Polish Lithuanian, the Mexican 760, Veiotic, and ZaneyBoi.